All right, so we're in guided practice. We usually have 4 problems to work on in guided practice, but today we're going to have 3 because you do have to do a couple of different steps in these problems, so you will have to do more work. You will also notice in your independent practice as well as your exit ticket, instead of having 4 and 4, you'll also have 3 and 3, so it'll be worth 6 points. Let's go ahead and look at our problem. 23 times 45. Remembering what air model. So some of you are like, remind me, Miss Adams, what is the area model? What does it look like? So this is when you draw your box. You want 4 sections, and that looks totally sloppy. Let me do that again because I don't want to get confused with my digits. So I'm going to try better. You draw your box, and you want 4 sections in your box. So this should look familiar to some of you. So some of you should say, oh, okay, yeah, I remember this. And then I have my number 23. I'm going to write 23. So I have those 2 10s. That's 23. I have 45. I'm going to write my 40 and then put my 5 ones in that column. So now I'm going to go ahead and multiply going across. So I have 40 times 2. Remembering your strategy, I'm simply going to multiply the 4 times the 2, which gives me 8. I'm going to add this 0 and then add this 0, giving me 800. I'm going to come down and continue with my 3. I have 4 times 3, which gives me 12. Don't forget to add this 0. 40 times 3 is 120. I'm coming over to my 5. Now I'm going to multiply 5 times 2, which gives me 10. Adding this 0 here. 5 times 20 gives me 100. 5 times 3 gives me 15. Now, you are not done. Don't forget, you have to find the sum of all of these numbers. So I'm going to come up thinking about my largest number first, putting that at the top, making it easier for me. 800 coming to my next largest number, 120, 100, 15. You should always have 4 numbers over here to add because you're going to have 4 boxes of numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and find the sum. This is 5, bunch of zeros up there. 2 plus 1 gives me 3. 8 plus 2, or 8 plus 1 gives me 9. 9 plus 1 gives me 10. Go ahead and write that 10. Don't forget that comma. 23 times 45 gives you 1,035. So a lot of you are probably sitting at home like, oh, okay, I totally remember that. I know how to do this. And so you should be able to get through your independent practice and your exit ticket pretty well. Let's go ahead and work out 36 times 24. I'm going to do the same exact thing. Drawing my box. I have 36. Now here's one thing that I want you to not do. It is not 36. Don't forget you need to have, this needs to represent 30. This right now represents 3. So it is not 36, oh, let me just separate the digits. No, you have to make sure this represents 30 because it is 36, not 36. And then we're going to write our 24. So that's 24. I'm going to come on over, multiply this 2 times 3, which is 6, adding both these zeros, which gives me 600. 2 times 6 gives me 12. Adding that 1 0 gives me 120. 4 times 3 gives me 12. Adding that 0 gives me 120. And 4 times 6 is 24. Coming over to add all of my numbers together, I'm writing the largest number on the top, making sure my numbers or my digits are in the correct place. Because if they're not, I will not have the correct answer. Coming on that, bringing that 4 down because it's just zeros up top. 2, 4, 6. Rolling my 2's there. 6, 7, 8. My answer for 36 times 24 is 864. If you need to pause, do that on your own. If you need to rewind it to see how I got this answer, feel free to do so. Because don't forget, this is your learning. You have to be responsible for your learning and make sure you understand how to use area model. So I have 35 times 67. Same thing with my box. 4 sections, making sure they're large enough so I can put a number in there. I have 35. I have 67. I want to multiply 6 times 3, which gives me 18. Adding both these zeros, which gives me 1,800. I am going to multiply 6 times 5, which gives me 30. Adding that 1 0 gives me 300. 7 times 3 gives me 21. Adding that 0 will give me 210. 7 times 5 is 35. This is going to be a larger number, as you can see. So I have 1,800. Still adding my comma there. Make sure it doesn't look like a 1. 300, 210, 35. Making sure I know to add. Bringing this 5 down. 1 plus 3 gives me 4. 8 plus 3 gives me 11. 12, 13. Don't forget your comma. We have 2,345 as the product for 35 times 67. That is our last guided practice problem. Make sure you're doing the work. You guys, this is not the time to use the algorithm. This is just the time to practice using area model. I challenge you to work on it with a 3-digit number if you want to. So for example, for my friends who like challenges, if I were to give you the number, let's take one of these, 251 times 23. How will we use the area model, right? Can it go beyond those 4 boxes? And it actually can. So I have 3 digits here, so I need to make sure I have 3 places to put those numbers, and then I only have 2 digits here. So this would be 251. So notice it's just pretty much expanded form, and I know you guys have been working with expanded form with Mr. Smith. And then you will go about just solving it the same way. So I have 2 times 2, which is 4. I'm going to add 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go ahead and keep going down. 2 times 3 is 6. Adding those 2 zeros. Oh, I forgot a 0 right there. Sorry. Those are 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. Yes, 1, 2, 3. All right, moving over to 50. 5 times 2 gives me 10. Adding 2 zeros. 1, 2. 5 times 3 gives me 15. Adding that 1 0. 1 times 2 gives me 2. Adding that 0. 1 times 3 gives me 3. And just like we did before, you would simply stack those numbers up. 4,000, 1,000, 600, 150, 20, 3. It's just a lot more numbers to add up, and this totally looks like a tower that's fallen over. This is 3, 5, 7. 5 plus 2 is 7. 6 plus 1 is 7. 4 plus 1 is 5. And there we go. So if you have the time, some extra time, and you want to challenge yourself, go after you do your independent practice in your exit ticket, go ahead and start thinking of some 3-digit numbers and trying to use the area model for that. Go for it if you're going to try it with 4 digits. Have fun with it. But make sure you do your independent practice and your exit ticket first.